kind of female world champions. Obviously, Jake is now fighting Anthony Joshua. Just your initial reaction to when you saw that announced, to go from Gervonta Davis to Anthony Joshua.
When I agreed this fight against Chase, I was going to say that, look, I'm first time back in a few years, influencer boxing, and I'm not fighting someone older than me. I'm not fighting someone smaller than me. I'm not fighting someone retired. I'm fighting an active champion. That's what a real man does. And that was going to be a dig at Jake Paul for fighting older people or smaller people. But now he's fighting AJ.
Fair.
So complete respect, huge respect to Jake Paul. I have nothing bad to say about Jake. Everything I was going to say, I can no longer say. So fair play to him. He's a brave man. He believes in himself. And I wish him and AJ a fantastic fight, and I hope they both come out without injury and without any problems and without any health issues.
You're quoted on record saying that you and AJ must retire if Jake Paul wins on December 19th. Stand by that?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I suppose so. Shit, yeah. Look, I don't see a world where Jake Paul wins this fight. I know that boxing's boxing. I mean, what was it? Roy Jones came out this morning and said Jake Paul can win this fight.
Anthony Joshua has been receiving retirement whispers before, but this time around the pressure is different. Eddie Hearn declared in a media talk that AJ would retire if he lost to YouTuber Jake Paul.
All right, now I'm a bit worried. I won't retire. AJ should retire if he loses. No,
Sorry.
No, I see AJ winning this fight with ease, comprehensively, destructively, violently, and I don't see a world where Jake Paul is competitive in the fight, let alone win the fight.
This fight for AJ is as unorthodox and unpredictable as Jake Paul places him in a position where the possibility of losing is devastating, but a victory would be life-changing. This fact itself has made this event a strange mood, and the fight became much more dramatic than many people first thought.
AJ's not preparing in a way that he just thinks it's a joke. He's preparing for Jake Paul like he's a world title contender. Yes, it's been a little bit of a shorter camp. Yes, we've got to make weight this time around, but it doesn't matter. We should just slide through this guy and bash him up and beat him up, and we should do it early doors.
Michael Buffer, responding to the fight, explained why it posed such a massive risk to Jake Paul. He mentioned that Joshua had spent years demonstrating himself as one of the most dangerous finishers in the sport, and that going against a man with such power as he had required a certain degree of courage that could not be overlooked.
Anthony Joshua is, at this time, and has been for years, the biggest puncher in boxing. He's a devastating puncher. So I got to give Jake a lot of credit for wanting to take this fight.
He went on to explain how Paul had already shown some visible progress as an athlete and how he was physical, in motion, and fast. Buffer told her that even though the gap in experience was massive, Paul had put himself in charge of his career and challenged himself to more difficult tasks.
You know, he's really worked on his footwork and his hand speed and everything, and he is like, I guess he's about 6'2" or something. It's like, he's not a small guy, and obviously a great athlete, and it's a big step up, but it's a step he wants to take. He controls everything he does, and he does it in a great way.
He pointed out that regardless of the fact that people did not believe or believed Jake, the dedication in the background had been actual. He discussed how Jake had worked the grind, had remained disciplined, and had a confidence that was not based on bravado, but on hard work.
But that's exactly why you got to give him credit. He wants to do it. He trains hard, he works hard, and he has a lot of faith in himself, so we'll see what happens.
Since the moment the bout was announced, this has created a buzz in the boxing world. The spectacle acted as a magnet to fans, critics, and analysts alike due to various reasons. Pros also wondered why a decorated heavyweight like Joshua would share a ring with an individual who had made it in a field besides boxing. Tommy Fury went into the match with the sort of fire that reverberated down to the ends of the boxing world. He wrote off Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul as a mere spectacle in the disguise of a sporting event. He insisted that Joshua would be able to manage Jake despite his broken arm by stating that there was so much difference that it was not even a competition anymore.
But if I can beat Jake Paul, then excuse my French, what the fuck is Anthony Joshua going to do to Jake Paul? I think my dad said that AJ could beat him with his prick, and I completely will back that up. Even if AJ had a broken arm in there, it still wouldn't go past a minute. To be quite honest with you, and as a safety aspect, there's no way that fight can go ahead. At the end of the day, my God, how good does it make me look? He gets beat by Jake Paul. Well, that automatically makes me two-time heavyweight champion of the world, doesn't it?
He claimed that the real fighters were training their entire life to fight in such a night, whereas this was more of a play than a real fight. To him, the fight had the scent of an act, of something contrived, something designed to receive clicks, but not to fight. He cautioned the fans against equating entertainment with authenticity, since there is no promotional value that could make this a valid fight.
There's no proper way. I've got to laugh about it. How are we even talking about this? He got his nut boxed off by me a little over 2 years ago, and now all of a sudden he's talking about fighting Anthony Joshua. It's like, come on. Like, you can't be serious. He can't beat me. I'm not Anthony Joshua, am I? So it's just ludicrous. It really is.
Some people claim that this was the reason why the fight attracted such attention, such an unpredictable coupling. The element of curiosity has not been refuted. They want to know how someone with experience and at the top of the professional pyramid reacts to a challenge that is, on paper, easy to overcome, but on an emotional and public level has enormous pressure. The controversy over the legitimacy of the match only made the focus bright. Lamont Roach added to the idea of Jake Paul intervening against a former unified world champion. At first, it did not seem real to him, almost impossible that Jake would dare to oppose him, yet he knew the reason why he would risk it. Roach stated that Jake had an unusual background in boxing and was still able to secure a spot on a big platform next to a world star like Anthony Joshua. Roach emphasized the size of that platform and why it was quite logical to Jake.
Excuse me. My first thoughts was, this guy's crazy. Not gonna lie, but I get it. Coming from a guy who's not a true traditional boxer, and to be able to have a position where he can fight a former unified world champion, former Olympic gold medalist, and to do it on such a stage where Anthony Joshua was a superstar as well. I mean, like, he sold out the O2, twice.
Absolutely.
I think. So, I think Jake is setting himself up for...
Lamont Roach investigated how Jake Paul was going about taking on Anthony Joshua, highlighting that earlier, Paul was positioning himself in a manner that would get him the most publicity and spectacle. Roach opined that the move was representative of ambition and business acumen, as he understood that Paul was making decisions more of a high-profile event where he would draw the world to his attention.
A huge spectacle, and which is, kind of smart. If you're going to go big, why not go to the highest, like the highest of the mountain? Why not? And I get it. That's what you call business right there. And I seen a lot of guys calling them out, from like Gabe to, other guys who are boxers. Yeah, like guys who actually beat them. But why would he settle for those guys when he could fight Anthony Joshua? So I think that's, I think that's smart. I think that's super smart.
Lamont Roach was keen to give an honest evaluation of the dangers that Jake Paul will confront against Anthony Joshua. He accepted that Paul might get a severe punishment, but the possible result was the creation of the destruction that is witnessed in the bouts of heavyweight fighters like Francis Ngannou. Roach also stressed that although the bout was going to bring massive ratings and rake in lots of money, the physical stakes involved with Paul were high, and a theatrical upset was hardly possible.
I think he gets obliterated. Something close to like Francis Ngannou. I think something like that happens, and it's going to be bad for him. But there will be a lot of viewers. There will be a lot of viewers, and there damn sure will be a lot of money.
You're gonna get what you want. There's gonna be a lot of people watching you, but it may not end the way that...
The fight has been scrutinized from all angles by critics who have observed it throughout the sport. Others have referred to it as a mismatch, where it is said that Joshua has an unfair advantage of experience, technique, and physical presence. Devin Haney was very attentive to the build-up to the fight and said he really thought Jake Paul would not consider such an unrealistic fight as one he would take. He was concerned and disbelieved of Jake's response, considering the fact that he had to deal with a fighter of the size of Anthony Joshua and an experienced champion.
I was surprised that Jake took the fight rather than Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is one of the best fighters in the world. He's a solidified champion. But I'm surprised that Jake took the fight and is fighting a guy that's so dangerous like Anthony Joshua. So I got to take my hat off to him.
The possible outcomes greatly outstripped the potential gains, as Haney pointed out, and it was odd that a social media celebrity would be established in the ring with a former unified unified heavyweight champion. Devin's remarks reflected on the grave dangers behind what many viewed as a show, reminding the spectators that, in spite of all the hype, the fight between the two is potentially life-threatening.
Because we were saying that, oh, he's fighting this person past their prime, this person's old and this and whatnot, and now he's fighting, AJ. So you got to take your hat off to Jake.
However, most analysts have admitted that Joshua does not go into fights with the same invincibility he used to have before. His performance in the last fights has brought about an unpredictability to the story. This is one of the weaknesses that has seen the fight continue to be a great point of discussion. Frazer Clarke made a dramatic insight into the upcoming fight, and it is important to note how intense and serious the battle is going to be. His words gave a clear impression of expectation in that he could already picture the fight that would happen in the ring. Using the prerogative of a person who had known power at work, Clarke emphasized how easily the tide could turn in a heavyweight fight. His description was also dramatic and tense, which gave the fans a clear impression that this fight was not going to be easy and controlled.
I just got a feeling that he's going to go in there and just pitbull chihuahua situation and finish him.
Clarke emphasized the fact that Anthony Joshua would most probably arrive in the ring with a state of mind that is able to control the fight, meaning that the fight would be overpowering to Jake Paul. In addition to the hype, Clarke also touched upon the real dangers that a less experienced fighter takes when he enters the ring with an old-time heavyweight champion, which in turn helps to understand how serious this fight is.
Dangerous, but these lot want to get paid loads of money. This is what is part and parcel that comes with it. The nature of the beast. Look what happened to me. And I'm a fighter, and that can happen. And it's painful, mate. It hurts. As long as he don't die, or he's not physically mashed up for the rest of his life, he might be all right because you're gonna earn a lot of money. Would you take getting chinned for X amount and no further repercussions? Probably. What I'm interested in is the ref.
Jake Paul, however, has made his career out of proving people wrong and being an underdog. His followers view his speed, youth, and fearlessness as an armament that may make Joshua complicate the issue. He does not have the same technical base and experience in the big fight as Joshua, but his confidence and risk-taking have made Paul get a special niche in contemporary boxing. He is not a mere social media star. He is a dedicated professional who works out, markets more, and succeeds in stressful situations. That dynamism and unpredictability are one of the reasons why this fight is the subject of continuous discussion. Andrew Tate stated that he was a big proponent of Jake Paul and how he has demonstrated bravery and resolve in getting into the boxing ring. He admitted that there were times when he and some individuals were critical or skeptical about Paul, but now he acknowledges that he committed himself to the sport and has become a better boxer.
Huge respect to Jake Paul. I have nothing bad to say about Jake. Everything I was going to say, I can no longer say. So fair play to him. He's a brave man. He believes in himself. And I wish him and AJ a fantastic fight, and I hope they both come out without injury and without any problems and without any health issues. I really do have a lot of respect for, like, there was a time when Jake was really insulting me, and Logan Paul hated me, and all these things, and KSI have insulted me, and Chase insults me, all these people insult me. I'm really just, I'm just a normal dude. I have respect for people who do things that are worthy of respect. I harbor no hate in my heart. I wish Jake the absolute best.
Tate emphasized the courage of Paul and was confident of his capabilities and wished him all the best in his future endeavors. His remarks showed a change of attitude towards doubt to realization that Paul had been successful in his hard work and improvement in boxing, to be respected by people who were not in the mainstream boxing community.
Jake isn't a YouTuber. Everyone needs to stop talking like Jake is a YouTuber. Jake is a boxer. Jake has more money than 99% of professional boxers on the planet. He has a full-time training camp. He lives with a full-time gym, full-time trainers. He's dedicated his life to this sport for nearly 7 or 8 years. That's a professional boxer. He's an ex-YouTuber. And this whole narrative, I'm just a YouTuber, is a really good sales tactic because Jake is a boxer and he is at heavyweight. So it's a heavyweight boxer against a heavyweight boxer.
The differences between the two warriors are intense when they are compared directly. Joshua is a bringer of size, strength, technical discipline, and the veteran comprehension of timing and distance. His jab, combo punching, and tall fighting style provide him with weapons that Paul has yet to encounter on this level. Joshua can also learn the way to feel when he is the center of the brightest lights in the sold-out arenas, opposing the world-class contenders. Joe Rogan gave a straightforward evaluation of the fight, highlighting financial and professional points at stake. He observed that as much as the fight would have been a lucrative affair, Jake Paul would be risking his career to challenge an experienced and strong fighter like Anthony Joshua.
Good Lord. Good Lord. I mean, that's a big if. Right?
I mean,
Anthony Joshua, Olympic gold medalist, former heavyweight champion of the world. What he did to Francis Ngannou, like, good Lord.
Yes.
Do you want that smoke?
Yeah, I just think it's all about the promotion or whatever. That fight's not competitive.
Rogan emphasized the fact that Joshua is a world champion. He is famous all over the globe, and he can finish the fight with the punches that shatter the world, which means that the risk to Paul is very high. He would even jibe that Joshua would say he had taken out the big majority of the purse, the inequality of experience and stature.
Well, it's a dangerous fight.
Yeah.
Because Joshua's going to try to make an example out of him, for sure.
And will.
I mean, Anthony Joshua is one of the biggest one-punch KO artists ever.
Yes.
I mean, he's a one-punch night guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's a great boxer, you know, very skillful.
Yeah.
To the fans of traditional boxing, this match goes against old assumptions of rank, merit, and competitive equality. The thought of a former heavyweight champion and a boxer who has experience that is much less as intriguing at best and perplexing at worst. Analysts have described it as being risky on the side of Joshua and being too ambitious on the part of Paul. Whereas both Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul have gone into intense training camps where they are pushing their bodies and minds to the limit as they prepare to fight one another in a clash of high stakes. Joshua is working on all the details of his method, on the exosystem of power, and making sure that his conditioning is of the world champion type. All drills, sparring, and gym routines are meant to help him conquer in the ring and remind the world why he is among the elite of boxing.
My intentions have been pure. I want Joshua. He's been dodging me, ducking me, and I was like, whoa. So I called Eddie, has there been any conversation between you and the Wilder camp? No, we ain't heard a peep. I said, so why is he calling my name out saying I've been ducking and dodging it? I feel like we've been stuck in a big hurdle with this last WBC belt. I've shown my cards, so I've laid them all out on the table. So you've got a chance to beat me and have the keys to the city. You have a chance to earn your biggest prize money. You've got a chance to fight in front of the best and the biggest crowd that boxing has to offer at Wembley Stadium. That being said, I don't know how many more cards I have to lay on your table to entice you. I'm ready to give it all.
Jake Paul, on the other hand, is training to be faster, more strategic, and more enduring, as he has decided to show that he can be a participant in the competition with an experienced heavyweight champion.
This is the moment that we've been waiting for. We've been trying to make this fight happen for quite some time now, and it's finally here, and we're definitely ready.
Joshua Camp has pointed out that this is not just another show, but one that involves a heavy battle that needs discipline, concentration, and accuracy. Paul will not be able to afford to underestimate the experience, power, and preparation of Joshua, which is why he could find himself in the way of a world-class fighter. There is an argument that these pairings do not do much good for the sport. Some feel it is an indication of an emerging trend in boxing, in which entertainment value and reach to the audience are becoming the determining factors in matchmaking. With the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua match nearing, it is undisputed that this is an event bound to be a turning point for both combatants. Joshua possesses the experience, power, and championship pedigree, whereas Paul is ambitious, confident, and brave enough to enter the ring with one of the biggest stars in the sport of boxing. Both fans and critics are paying close attention and are arguing whether it is a risky show or if Paul has a chance to solidify his legacy. The stakes are high, the tension is high, and the world is anxiously awaiting the course of events. Your opinion on this? Jake Paul against a real heavyweight champion. Do you think that the impossible will be pulled off, or will Joshua prevail as we know? Put in your predictions in the comments, give it a like, and subscribe to get all the fight news and analysis.